Alright, g'day everybody, welcome back to another episode of Craft by Tim. Today was the day of the Perth Knife Show, and it was a lot of fun. It was a little bit smaller than what I was expecting, and I think a lot of people were expecting it to be a lot larger. But even then, the amount that was there was pretty phenomenal, and I reckon with all of the interest that they got, by the way, this is, I think, the first time that they held it in Perth, so they weren't entirely sure what sort of response they were going to get. But it was a decent size, and there was quite a bit crammed in there. And I think for the next year, what they're planning on doing is making it a lot larger, because they had a lot more interest than what they thought they were going to have. Apparently on the first day, they had about as many people as they had at the Sydney show, which is way bigger. They didn't really expect that much out of the Perth community. It was really cool to see such a wide variety of people there, and not just craftsmen and craftswomen, it was also people who were just genuinely interested and they wanted to learn something or they wanted to buy something, and that was really cool. There was a lot of people there that may not have been interested in craftswork as such, but they could see how much craftswork went into each piece and they could appreciate the amount of craftsmanship in each piece. It was really awesome to see. So, at the show, it was $10 entry. It was at the Fremantle Prison. For the size, I reckon $10 was pretty good. I probably wouldn't really want to be charging people much more if for just entry. But it was really nice. Apparently there was a raffle going on. I missed that because I came too late, unfortunately. There was actually someone else doing a competition, sort of an independent, and it was just a bit of fun. He had a variety of kitchen knives set up, and it was a matter of taking one of the knives and an apple and trying to get the longest peel out of it. It was just a bit of fun, and if you managed to beat the record, then you got the knife that you used to peel it. And I thought that was brilliant, and I gave it a go. I got most of the way through. Unfortunately, I failed right at the end. It broke in half. And I was so concentrated on peeling this apple that I didn't even realize that it broke. But I got a free apple out of it, so hey, can't complain. It was really interesting to talk to people. There was actually another blacksmith there by the name of Sam Towns. I'll leave a link in the description. He's a blacksmith. He lives in Western Australia as well. It was really good talking to him because he gave me a few pointers. I expressed my interest in wanting to work with O1 tool steel, so they were actually able to sort of help me out with finding sources and stuff like that for, getting O1 tool steel, because it isn't exactly the easiest material to find, but there are stores in Perth that sell it. So, check out Sam Towns Bladesmith. There'll be links in the description to his YouTube channel. Other people that were there were Anyang, the guys that make power hammers in Australia. They were pretty cool to talk to as well. It was very enlightening to see how expensive these Goliath of machines are. But that being said, I still really want one. Fire Ant, I believe it's Fire Ant, were also there. They were talking about their grinders and stuff like that. That was really cool. I also found out that they sell raw iron, so I might start going to them to see whether or not I can get some raw iron. That might be fun to work with in the future. There were also other creators, but unfortunately I can't remember everybody's names. I should have been taking notes and stuff like that, but note for next time. Make sure to take notes. But you'll notice that I have this box in front of me. This is stuff that I picked up at the Perth Knife Show. Now let's start off with the stuff that I bought specifically at the Perth Knife Show. First of all, we have this nice hunky piece of yellow gum. This stuff looks really cool. Nice hunky piece for a reasonable price too. Quite happy with that. I also got from Gameco Artisan Supplies, as I mentioned, they were going to be there, this thing, which is called a broach tool, or a broaching tool. So it's basically a little saw with a nice cool handle, and it's designed for taking out the slot. It's designed for cutting slots into material for hidden tang knives. So that was pretty cool. Now I wasn't entirely sure at first because it did seem kind of expensive, but then again I also thought the amount of times that I've come to very close to or either completely destroying handles just because I rushed it, I over drilled the holes or whatever, something like this is going to come immensely in handy. And then I have this big old box of things that I actually picked up. Gameco Artisan Supplies were doing a deal sort of thing, so that because they were going to the Perth Knife Show, you could order through them to the Perth Knife Show, and then they'll just basically send over an entire pallet or shipping container or whatever, and pick it up, take it to the knife show, and you could pick up whatever it was that you ordered from the Perth Knife Show. So that way you don't have to pay for shipping. Okay, great. So first up we have a few belts. So these are 2x48 inch belts. So to start off with, we have a 400 grit belt. These are really soft belts. They're like on a, I guess, a fabric sort of backing, and they feel nice on their hands. We also have 240 grit belt. I think these ones are Zykrona. And then this one is a aluminium oxide 600 grit belt. Inside the box, we also have a little bit of interestingness. I recently saw these on Gameco Artisan Supplies and I thought, that's kind of cool. I like that. I reckon that'll be interesting to work with once I get it open. Buffalo horn. So this is actual buffalo horn, and it's really interesting. It's a very hard material. It's quite dense actually. Just looks very interesting. You can kind of see. So you can kind of, I guess you can kind of see it. You can sort of see the internal shape of that. It's a very interesting material. It's nicely ground on all sides. I'm kind of tempted to mostly use it for bolsters and spacers. I'm not sure whether or not that would be a wise use of it. But my brother also wants to give a shot to carving this. He quite likes his carving, and I reckon if I end up with a decent offcut, I'd send it to him to see what he makes out of it. But yeah, that's actually quite a nice piece, quite weighty to it. I can't remember the price of this, but I will try and throw it up on screen. And last but not least, actually probably least, I don't know, I also got barely some unopenable bubble wrap. There we go. A new leather punch. So this one is a very one for a very specific job. It's not exactly for punching leather as such, but it's more for tooling leather. So that makes a shape like that, which is sort of your basket weave or your leather weave shape. So I'm not entirely sure how to use this. I'm going to give it a little bit of an experimentation and then probably post some photos at some stage, see how it goes. Very keen on learning how to use one of these, but I reckon this will be a very interesting point to start, you know, doing more leather work, which is what I'd like to do in the future. Yeah, but I'd like to do more of it because it is a very enjoyable thing to do. So the Perth Knife Show, it was a lot of fun. It was actually really interesting and I got a lot from it. It was also a really nice place to sort of just gather and have sort of everybody in the same room talking about their experiences and what you can try to sort of better your work. All of the work there was amazing. There was a lot of Damascus, which I kind of expected. Obviously, I got there on the second day. There was a lot less on the second. A lot of knives got sold. There was a lot of work that went into this. Gameco Artisan Supplies did a massive amount of work with getting publicity about it and sort of getting people to know about it. A massive thanks to them. I understand that a lot of this wouldn't have actually happened without Gameco Artisan Supplies helping it along the way, just Gameco in general. All in all, I would say it was a lot of fun. Everybody there had something on display that was something to strive for, and everybody there took a massive amount of pride in their work. You could really see it. I hope you guys enjoyed the show if you did end up going. If you didn't manage to make it this year, I would strongly recommend trying to get there next year they're doing it again. I hope they are. It was a lot of fun, and I think they got a really good response from the general community. And it was sort of a fun for all ages thing. But things that I think that they could improve on is one, size. I reckon there was a lot more potential, especially because there were a lot of customers on the first day. It was kind of crammed. Also, a lot of people got kind of put off by the fact that they could literally see to the other side of the entire show. It's fine because it was the first time that they've done this in Perth, and you know, they had absolutely no idea of what sort of response that they were going to get. It was great to see it come out to Western Australia. It was great to be able to be involved in this sort of thing. The other thing that I reckon they could have expanded on a little bit more were more activity-based things. If the next knife show had more of that sort of thing, I think a lot more people would be involved. I don't know how many more activities you can do with bladed items without people sort of getting a little bit too conscious about occupational health and safety. But it was a very nice event, and I didn't hear of anything going wrong that weekend, and it was actually really good to see sort of the community in Western Australia getting behind it and showing out. And it was great seeing such a massive turnout. Hope you guys all make it to the next knife show whenever that happens to be. In the meantime, I hope you guys stay safe, happy crafting, and as always, cheers.